Kuzuzampo, you're watching our weekly news magazine program Bhutan This Week with me, Sonampem. This week's top stories. His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej of Thailand passes away at the age of 88. Physical violence, the most common form of violence against children in the country. And Phuentsholing Hospital records over 200 dengue fever cases since July this year. His Majesty the King received the news of the passing of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej of Thailand with immense sorrow. His Majesty King Bhumibol passed away after 70 years on the throne.
His Majesty the King, His Majesty the 4th Drugalpo, members of the royal family led a group of clergy, senior government officials and the Thai community in Bhutan in offering 1,000 butter lamps and prayers in memory of the Thai king at the Kunre of Tashichisong. His Majesty commanded special prayers be held and butter lamps be lit in sacred temples across Bhutan dedicated to the memory of His Majesty, the late King Bhumibol Adulyadej. It will continue for the next 7 days. Tomorrow, the 14th of October, will be observed as a day of mourning in Bhutan. The national flag will fly at half-mast to honor the memory of His Majesty King Bhumibol, and offices and schools will remain closed to enable the people to visit temples and offer prayers. His Majesty will visit the National Memorial Chotin tomorrow and lead prayers. Prayers at the Tashichisong will be led by Her Majesty, the Royal Grandmother. His Majesty the late King Bhumibol has been an exceptional leader, a comforting presence in the lives of every Thai citizen. His Majesty's enduring service for the welfare and well-being of his people will be remembered with honor and respect. The royal families of Bhutan and Thailand have shared exceptionally warm relations over the years, which have been mirrored by strong bonds of friendship between the two countries. His Majesty King Bhumibol's passing brings profound grief to the people of Bhutan. His Majesty the King and the people of Bhutan offer sincere and heartfelt condolences to the grieving people of Thailand. For Sonam Chodin, Sringzam, BBS News.
His Majesty the King granted Da to the newly elected Gups of 20 Dzongkhuks at the historically significant Simtokha Dzong. The Gups were elected during the local government elections held last month.
While addressing the Gups, His Majesty the King highlighted the importance of their roles in the local government and commended on the success of the second round of the local government elections.
Ngajera mazu rinlulu te kanewa khachiwidi chamatoni dimbe te zaktu kablu ngajera misisugi jabjo ribum bepji te gen bagdibe te pha chogen chuwae thui te dule ngerang yubide chigalu te khelang bedibe beshimda zaktunalu chamatomira sumtong sumja gupju goji thil te anilu ngarakhatule yije bomberul ta gabigi zaktuna berura te tari geha thomisu te ta na ta shuwa om I te inrura pa yukhalu te chamatodibe geha mathoba lumeyul te ngara hamalabdu zumbera ngachera masu rinlu nalu te zaktugi kablu gemi da phamise mi se khachishura ngachera khelang bedibe gaaragi ngachera zawasumlu te kokap thobajin cha shuni segi te khelang tamchesu pyumel te dilu namesame te takchen lejimi ngarakhatule tebe jedere beru lo de ngerambese.
His Majesty said the Gups will not go wrong in carrying out their responsibilities if they uphold the rule of law.
The loji wa loji gekhab gi chala de mam bere thyon Hamada chepdi Darirama, Daribadi, the Shuma Maungpalu Mambe, the Vichungla. The Aniki Kable, the Nyankadi Naraki Jeodadi, the Bomshu Chidi, Yujugi Lada, Ngenlegi La, the Anchi Noso Matamba, Rangi Mabiru Rogi Tusho Debe, Shada Shoka, the Kasakaniki Nyankai Yul. The Chala Maramam, the Zida de Masuchivera, Tangol, Ribde Tepjere Gimgol. The Ani Bodalo, the Talapa Guzung, Achitoto Chaji Juchigi Chala, Judu Nangobe, Trotik Dube, Chaji Junigi, Chala Bom Zenigi, the Tadizego, the Ani Zebikable, the Nachera Gabsugi, the Tepjere Sem Temten, Ribgim, Tamba Rangi Tumashu, Niba, Rogi, Tumashobe, Zida Tansuchi, the La Beonoigi, Reokedibusa.
The Gubs said they feel privileged to have received such recognition from His Majesty the King.
명하다 림보체기 세치굴레 때다 대배슈니기 고갑 토메들로 대남미섬에 깨와자노 세슈니라
날레마 요칼로 가차라기 게오노 lokhlubdalo te ngachara jungota misigi panakolo te chachi disu ngachagi te kateta te ngacharagi meonga derimbochigi te katindi te ngachagi dupsupe rewa bom yuise shunibi
te ngachara delapha su chashigi la te ngachigi genkhuda genti dizu kadebe bagobina gap simidi kadimchi khachi tudo yobina te ngachigi jungda misigi panalo chashudalo te kadebe shogobina disugi kara ngachilo te kalop sambodusu hinsan sabe nandebe te ngachara te semo mem ye gai se shunila.
Before the Dar ceremony, the Gubs offered 1,000 butter lamps and prayers for His Majesty the King and the Gelton on their 5th wedding anniversary. The Dar for the Gubs is granted from the Golden Throne, recognizing the significant roles of the local government. The Gubs will serve a term of 5 years. Kilyongden for BBS News.
11 job seekers have filed a case against Lama Youth Overseas Employment Agency after the company failed to refund the money to the job seekers. The company had collected 100,000 yutam each from 36 job seekers as a visa guarantor fee to give them jobs in the UK. But later the job seekers found that it was a scam.
It all began in December last year when the Lama Youth Overseas Employment Agency announced jobs on the Labour Ministry's website. Some 36 job seekers then paid 100,000 yutram to the agency for visa to work in Mostel Seafood Company in the UK. But the Labour Ministry said it is not allowed to collect fees as per the regulations. One of the job seekers who did not want to reveal his identity spoke to BBS.
The ministry issued a letter to the agent stating that they are not allowed to collect money from the job seekers. But when he met us, he said that the agency has received approval from the ministry to collect money. We didn't mention anything to the ministry. We waited for months, but we didn't get the visa. That put us in doubt and we approached Mr. Michael.
I immediately, in front of them, on my mobile phone, I telephoned this company, talked to the head of human resources, who told me quite clearly that these jobs which had appeared on the internet were a complete scam.
Sangin Yudap from the company denied any wrongdoing. He claims that they were deceived by the agents in the UK, but said some of the job seekers were paid certain amount but was unable to pay the full amount.
For the case is very serious, and so we have taken that final measure of terminating the license, and the agent will no longer be allowed to function or operate as a recruitment or placement agency. So now other action is dependent on our legal system, on the judiciary.
I was very unhappy to hear that the consultancy dealing with this had charged each of these people 1 lakh, and the young people were not clear about what they paid 1 lakh for, they thought it was something to do with visas. But I should add two things. First of all, nobody else can apply for your visa for you. And secondly, a UK visa does not cost 1 lakh.
The agent had violated the regulations in the past and had already served a suspension. Kilyangdan for BBS News.
It will take another 2 years for Lhamoi Zingkha Middle Secondary School in Dagana to provide adequate boarding facilities. For now, in absence of such structures, the school is using its old classrooms as hostels.
For the past 3 years, these old structures of the school have been serving as hostels for boys and girls. On an average, 15 students share a room.
This is southern Bhutan, and our hostel is very old, wrecky ones. So we feel lots of problem of compactness and hotness. So in the hot time, we sometimes sleep on the porch of the hostel. We try to manage that way, and we sometimes used to fan with our books cover, and sometimes we try to sleep without our clothes.
Luchi or Luchi, boom disu mam, boom jam chimembala, booster boom nichara, low mam, jankamam, berjomela, mindigi.
Since the number of students under boarding facility increases annually, we find it difficult adjusting the beds in the hostel. There isn't enough space to walk, and in summer, when it rains, the hostel becomes muddy, and those sleeping next to the door face a difficult time.
The school also lacks a classroom since those available are used as hostels. A group of class 3 students have to make do with a temporary shed to study. The school's principal, Tile Doji, said 15 million neutrum have been approved for the construction of hostels. The Dzongkhag administration has already floated its tender and works are expected to begin this winter.
We have only one classroom temporary shed which is actually built by the public. Now, with the coming up of 120-bedded hostel to boys and girls, when students shift towards the new hostel, we will be having the new ADM block, and that can be served as the classroom. And with coming up of that 120-bedded hostel, it is going to solve a problem for classroom shortage as well as the hostelers or the border students.
Lhamoi Zingkha Middle Secondary School has more than 770 students, of which around 300 are under the boarding facility. For Changadaji, this is Kilyangdan for BBS News.
Physical violence is the most common form of violence against children in the country. As per the National Commission for Women and Children's latest report on violence against children, more than 6 out of every 10 children in the country experience at least one form of physical violence in their lifetime.
The country's first ever comprehensive report on child violence was launched today at Dawaka Lower Secondary School in Paro, coinciding with the International Day of the Girl Child. The research report highlights several findings, such as schools being the place where children usually experience sexual violence, most commonly in the form of sexual touching. It has been found that more than 1 out of every 10 children experience sexual violence in their lifetime. Also, children, both male and female, experience forced sexual intercourse. Speaking at the event, Lempodoji children shared such data from the report would help understand the situation and underlying problems.
Most often there is a lack of girl-specific data, and as a result, girls' needs and challenges can remain unknown and unaddressed. Discriminatory becomes norms because we don't have data, we are just making sweeping statements, general statements, it becomes norms. It is therefore critical the girl-specific data is available so as to come up with a targeted programs with special measures to address the problems.
As per the study, most perpetrators of violence, including sexual violence, are those responsible to care for them, including their own families. Alcohol misuse was found to be one of the most significant triggers of violence against children.
The National Commission for Women and Children, in collaboration with the United Nations Children's Fund Bhutan, compiled the report over a period of 3 years.
Investing in more and better data for girls and quantifying the challenges girls face is the first critical step towards meeting the Sustainable Development Goal in gender equality and breaking down barriers that hold back girls across the world from reaching their full potential.
The International Day of the Girl Child was observed with the theme Girls Progress Equals Goals Progress, a global call for data. Compiled for Ishigalson in Paro, Pup Game for BBS News.
Bhutan Broadcasting Service and Phuentsholing are best represented and most active on social media among the media houses in the country. This was revealed in the research conducted by a professor, Dr. Szymon Zelensky, from one of the renowned universities in Poland.
Professor Dr. Szymon Zelensky conducted research on Bhutanese media on social media for a year. His research from an outsider's perspective for 20 media houses found that Facebook was the most popular platform with almost all the media present. BBS and Phuentsholing as media houses had dominant presence on Facebook with most likes apart from the Radio Valley channel. However, some media houses were found to be inactive as far back as 2013.
Whereas some other Bhutanese media, they publish one a day or even once a week. Yeah, and I think it's the funding, but also when we speak about the social media, I think it's the understanding of the social media, because you have to understand that if you own a media, if you own a newspapers, if you own a television or a radio, you have to be on social media.
According to the research, there were 11 media houses having Twitter accounts, but only 6 were active. Despite BBS and Phuentsholing keenly using Twitter, the research says some media houses have treated Twitter as worse medium.
It's taking the second place, but Twitter is not that good. You know, the presence of Bhutanese media on Twitter is not that. Yeah, there is no heart, I think, in it. The Facebook, everyone understands Facebook. And
Phuentsholing and BBS were also found having stable and working websites compared to other media houses. With social media's crucial role in communications, the research also says BBS and Phuentsholing should be active on other social media channels like Instagram, Snapchat and YouTube among others. For Chetan Dupchu, Tsringzam, BBS News.
The National Referral Hospital is seeing an increasing number of couples for the intrauterine insemination every day. The facility was established a month ago.
More than 30 couples came for the intrauterine insemination, which is located in the infertility clinic. Doctors say many couples have been waiting for the service until now. Intrauterine insemination is a fertility treatment that involves placing sperm inside a woman's uterus to facilitate fertilization.
Actually, in the past we used to see 1 or 2 or 3 infertile women in a day. Now we have more than 10 in a day coming. And this is not because of increase in the infertility, but because many of these couples have been waiting for IUI. So after hearing that it has started, so they've started coming in, and we also, some of them are already registered with us, so we call them and then they have started using the new services.
Dr. Ugin Somo said a couple have to undergo 3 cycles of intrauterine insemination.
Intrauterine insemination is usually done in the women who have taken medication to have pregnancy and it fails, so we call it ovulation induction. And then when men have sperm count lower than 20,000 but more 20 million but more than 10 million, and then those couples whose everything is normal but they don't get pregnant, we call it unexplained infertility. So to these couples also we offer intrauterine insemination.
However, if intrauterine insemination fails, the couple has to undergo the in vitro fertilization, commonly known as test tube baby, which is not yet available in the country. Currently, without a fertility specialist, gynecologists are looking after the service. Sringzam, BBS News.
This year, from July till date, Phuentsholing Hospital recorded 232 dengue fever cases so far. This, going by the records with the hospital, is the highest in the last 1 decade.
Phuentsholing Hospital receives at least 5 to 6 cases of dengue fever every day. According to the Health Ministry, the major outbreak this year is possibly due to heavy rainfall and relatively hotter summer. The increasing number of dengue fever cases has put pressure on the hospital's limited space. Doctors say there is no enough space to isolate patients suffering from the viral disease. It has also resulted in more workload for the health officials. Apart from Phuentsholing, the hospital also attends to referral cases from Samtse.
Since dengue fever has given us a lot of workload here, and in addition to other emergency cases, like we have lot of road traffic accidents and lot of other social problems in the community where we have to attend those emergency in the hospital also.
Although dengue fever can be treated, doctors say it can be life-threatening.
Dengue fever is a treatable disease, and it can be treated if it is diagnosed at the right time. And sometimes people come to hospital very late, and that time sometimes people can go into shock and people can go into hemorrhagic stage. Fortunately, we didn't have any death cases regarding dengue.
The first dengue fever in the country was reported in 2004 in Phuentsholing. For Kingatashi, Pemal Harden for BBS News.
The new Samtse hospital will open next month. The Health Ministry plans to hand over the completed 40-bedded structure to the hospital administration by the end of this month. The construction of 226 million Newton hospital was running at least 1.5 years behind schedule, as it was supposed to be complete by late 2014.
With the new hospital, healthcare, especially the specialized services, are expected to get better, and referrals for people likely to get easier and cheaper.
We are glad to have new hospital, which will soon become operational. This would also mean we need not have to take trouble traveling to far away health facilities, spending money.
The hospital administration had planned to open the new hospital in phases, starting with outpatients and wards end of this month, and a final move from old hospital in November. They said the operation theatre would likely take some time as it would require external expertise. The new hospital is a Government of India funded project.
Cleanliness
There is a lack of cleanliness which puts patients under risks and exposure to diseases. Sometimes there is no water on taps when you want to wash off clothes. The electrical fittings in this old hospital are terrible. Some of the fans and lights do not work, and this affects the staff on duty as well.
At present, healthcare services are given from the worn-out facilities, which have already exceeded its lifespan. The old hospital was built in 1968, and providing services under such condition have increasingly come under strain. On top of this, the delay in construction of the new hospital had put pressure on key facilities. The construction of new hospital began in 2012, and due to delays from the contractor, the Health Ministry terminated the works in April this year. Since May, the works are being carried out by the ministry. Compiled for Sonam Phuntsho, Sringda Magalson, BBS News.
While the two newly opened private fishing farms in Ha are hopeful of seeing a huge market, their hopes are obstructed by the availability of the feed. The sustainability of the trout farms depends on the quality of the feed.
The trout in these fish farms in Damthang and Safe are given feed in the form of pellets. It is imported from India. But sometimes these fish have to survive on wheat flour, though they are carnivorous.
I don't find any problems with the market because
I'm primarily targeting high-end hoteliers like tourist resorts and all that. As of now, the main challenges that I'm facing is with the feeds that is going to be like feeded to my trout, because it is not being easily available in our country, so we have to import from third countries like India and Nepal and all that. So since we are not getting feed on the time, so we are trying to replace with locally available capche.
According to National Research Center of Riverine and Lake Fisheries, the lack of quality fish feed affects the growth of fish. The center is planning to make trout feed.
Now we are planning to formulate trout feed ourselves by having a small infrastructure facility within our farm, just to have trout farming program going. I think our center will have to start making feed and make it available for fish farmers. So once we have more fish farmers, there will be more demand for fish feed. So I think private entrepreneurs, I think they will take up making fish feed and then supplying fish feed.
Until the feed is produced locally, private farms have to continue importing the fish feed. Sengi Chizom for BBS News.
If figures are anything to go by, then poultry business is fast picking up in Punakha. Today, there are about 40 poultry farms in the Dzongkhag, and the number is only expected to increase as the business prospect flourishes.
Kilapenjar of Kabisa is among those who recently ventured into poultry business. He started with around 350 layers and depends entirely on the business to sustain his family. In a month, he earns over 60,000 nutrim.
I don't have to struggle when it comes to marketing the poultry products. I supply it to the nearby resorts and shops. People also come to the farm to buy. The remaining is sold at Kurutang town.
Other poultry farm owners in the Dzongkhag also have stories of successful business to share.
The business has been good so far. I repay my loan and meet household expenses through the earnings from the poultry business. The income is also enough to bear the cost of my children's education. The income from the poultry business is enough to earn a livelihood. I am thinking of buying more pullets since I solely depend on the business for survival.
The Dzongkhag livestock officer said in the past there were only a handful of poultry farms in the Dzongkhag, but following the ban on import of poultry products, especially egg, in the country, many started taking up the farming.
We have plans to come up with 20 more poultry farms during the current 2016 to 2017 financial year. The farms will focus on large-scale production. So as of now, poultry farm is progressing.
To encourage poultry farming, the Dzongkhag Livestock Office, on their part, provides technical support in some construction materials. They also monitor the management of the farms regularly. Fuchuni Demo in Punakha, Kilayangjan for BBS News.
A dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. Kille Namge has gone from selling cheese on his scooter to opening the first garment manufacturing unit in the country. Kille and Sonam Manufacturing Unit was launched in the capital recently. As the ceremonial note was untied, Kille Namge achieved what he dreamt a long time ago.
When people say that it is made in Nepal, what is actually being done is the materials come from China and Taiwan. They don't produce the materials in their own country, but just stitch and manufacture. So I was encouraged and inspired to open up a manufacturing unit.
Kile and Sonam Manufacturing Unit not only manufactures garments but also customizes it as per customers' requirements and specifications. And as mentioned, the materials for the garments are brought from China and Taiwan. Besides manufacturing, they also repair and fix clothes and bags that usually find a corner and add up to a pile once they wear out.
For now, we have started with materials from outside. Soon, we plan to use our Bhutanese textiles so that the product, true to its sense, is made in Bhutan. We have plans of exporting it to other countries if it goes well.
Currently, the manufacturing unit has 16 national and 8 Indian workers. Sunampem for BBS News. Well, that's all we have for you this week. Do join us next week. Until then, this is Sunampem saying goodbye.